Hey friends, welcome to Andy's Audio Crap, where we talk about audio gear and all of its glory. Today's glory is this beautiful Pioneer PL-117D. Let's talk about why this might be a good player for you. This video's sponsor is Andy's Audio Crap on eBay, where you'll find used parts, new old stock, kits, and occasionally gear. Thanks for your support. First off, the owner is en route to pick this up, so we don't have any time to do the normal testing, so we're just going to make some assumptions based on another one. I have a 510 that I'm going to be doing a video on here in just a little bit. These are basically the same, but this one is mechanical with belt drive. It is a direct drive. All right, this thing is horribly reliable. The motor in these were built wonderfully. They're very, very robust. They're kind of overbuilt, in fact. And the suspension in these things is to die for good. Let's talk about that. The bottoms are spring, so the feet are spring rubber. So that's the first piece of isolation. The plastic is special built resonant resistance plastic, and the entire head shell, and the entirety of the tone arm and the platter and everything are floating in here on springs, just like an acoustic research turntable. So the isolation is just phenomenal, and as a result, they can be extremely sensitive turntables because they're not going to pick up a bunch of resonance. So you can put a cartridge on here that is ridiculously sensitive. All right, we have the volume up. Can you hear me moving that? That is actually an extremely sensitive cartridge. The Shure cartridges tend to be kind of touchy and loud, but on this turntable poses no problem whatsoever. The downside to owning a turntable like this is because it's mechanical, it's going to have lubricant in it that will need to be replaced. In this particular case, I had to remove a bunch of old black lubricant. Now, somebody can put in the comments what that lubricant was made up of. It doesn't solidify nearly as bad as grease, so it does have one up. The issue is that over time, they degrade no matter what kind of lubricant it is, really. Although it's debatable how long they should last, but pull it out, clean it out, put new in, and then make sure everything's good and good moving, good motion, and then we're off to the races again. Let's remove a couple of components from this so I can show you how easy this is to actually maintain. All right, platter mat off, belt off. There is a little hole up here, two actually, on either side of the motor shaft that are oil holes. Put a little bit of oil in there, they're good to go. It's good to go. It carries the oil where it needs to go, and as long as you oil it, I think the manual says usually it's like 500 hours of runtime lubricated. This little screw comes off right here. Remove this, and then you have your spindle where you can make sure that the little notch is out, but then you can lift up on your spindle, clean it out. And again, some of this black guck came out of here, put new synthetic lubricant in, and you're off to the races. Do not lubricate any of this. This does rely on friction. When you turn a turntable over, open it up, and do lubrication inside, you can drop some in the paths of this. You don't have to worry about cleaning too much of it out, and clean some of it out. Or you can just detach it here, pull the entire cog off, and then turn it over, clean it out real good, and lubricate it. But you definitely do not want to lubricate the pieces that trigger off of this. Do not lubricate those. It will cause it to go into happy mode. It will start sticking in places it shouldn't, and then you'll end up with a constant repeat turntable. All right, putting the belt on. This is Actually, one of the issues that I want to discuss, if you buy a belt on eBay, they tend to sell you a very, this is my belt, this is the eBay belt, and they tend to sell you, and Amazon as well, a very tight belt. And tight is not the name of the game in a turntable like this, because what it's going to do is the motor is fixed, and this piece is floating. It's going to pull it towards the motor if your belt is too tight. You do not want a too tight belt on here. You want the belt to be somewhat loose. See how loose that belt is? It's not going to fall off, but it's just like, it is just barely hanging on. Turn it over, stretch it out a little bit over my finger, run it through the guide and over the motor, and there we go. Okay, the features of this table are just 33/45 for speed. There's no speed adjustment on this table. It reads in the frequency that's coming off of the grid, and it determines how fast it should be going based on that. Somebody who has engineering experience can explain that to me, or a tech can explain that in the comments. Not to me, but in the comments, if anybody cares to do that. The adjustment to the speed then is not needed. Your adjustment then becomes your belt, how tight this belt is, how good that belt is, and then making sure that that spindle is clean. If it's running just a bit too fast, chances are something needs cleaned. Either it's this piece in here, and you'll see this one's just a tad bit dirty, and then this here, the tad bit dirty can't be cleaned off of this one without getting out some abrasives. I'm just going to leave it. It's just running a tad bit too fast. Probably 33.66 instead of 33.33. The start, stop, repeat button is for fully automatic functions. When this turntable hits start, it goes and lays it down on the record, and then it picks it up in the center. The size of the records you can play on here, 7, 10, and 12. Most people are only playing 12s. Sometimes you'll see people playing 7s. Very rarely do you see 10s. Up and down motion of the arm elevation, which they call it, so the tone arm lift, is it's just a normal cylinder, and you just add a little bit of lubricant in there. Not normal lubricant, it's a special lubricant, and that will cause that to either slow down or speed up, depending on if it's too slow for you. You might need to add some thinner lubricant, again, special lubricant. And then your anti-skate is right here. Your tone arm balance is over here. I do not have the actual Pioneer tone arm on this one, so if you'll see here, I'm going to draw this back to 0, or let's just pretend like it's not. Okay, this is what I want to see. I want to see it kind of balance here, and then I'm going to take it, this front part here, and I'm going to move it to 0, and it still should do this kind of balance thing. And now I'm going to take and move it in to 2, and let's say 2 1/4. Now I've got my weight set to 2 1/4 grams. The tone arm lock on here is just in fabulous condition. It's a great turntable. These things are absolutely wonderfully awesome. This one is in particularly good condition. The gal said that she's an original owner and just wanted it serviced. There was absolutely nothing wrong with this. It was still functioning. Everything looked great. Had some tar buildup on it. Just, use normal chemicals to get that off. Don't use any harsh chemicals, and don't use any abrasives on these. This is it. That's all I have to say about these. I really appreciate you tuning in and taking a look. These tables are great for somebody who doesn't mind either paying for somebody to maintenance them or maintaining them themselves. They just run forever. They are just great turntables. Second to an Acoustic Research or an Empire. In my opinion, these are the bee's knees. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.